Hello, today I want to talk about mindfulness meditation. I first heard about mindfulness meditation years ago. Someone recommended it to me. Um, I didn't think much of it. It seemed a bit new age, like putting crystals under your bed or sitting in a field with flowers in your area or something like that. It wasn't until like recently I had a look at trying to make some changes that I did some research, and I was surprised to discover it's recommended by a lot of like therapists, like actual therapists with qualifications. Um, I think probably I'd better explain what it is, although I might mess it up. If anybody knows more than I do, or if I'm saying something wrong, then please correct me. Right, it's quite simple, really. All you do is sit with your back straight, close your eyes, or pick some point to look at off in the distance. Um, Focus on your breath, on breathing in and out. That could be either the feeling of your chest going in and out or the feeling of the air at your nostrils. And try and be present in the current moment. If your mind starts to wander, which it will a lot, just recognise that you're thinking and bring your attention back to breathing and being in the moment. Sounds simple, right? Well, it's not all that easy. It turns out I'm really bad at it. My mind wanders all the time. Like I struggle to like concentrate on my breath for like a minute or so. Sometimes the longer I do it, the better it is. I think maybe it takes a certain amount of time to get into the right headspace for it to happen better. I think the way it works is something like this. Sort of depression is sort of like ruminating on the past failures and anxieties, worrying about some future that's terrible that hasn't happened. If you can stay in the moment and focus on your breathing, then you can sort of ease away the anxiety and everything for a little while. If you practice it, apparently, it can change kind of the rewiring of your brain in some ways. I think it might be a bit like a muscle that you kind of work out and it gets stronger the longer you do it. The first few times I did it, it was so hard. I have this weird thing with panic attacks where it's to do with my breathing as well and hyperventilating. Concentrating on my breathing was a bit difficult because it made me hyper aware and I started worrying about hyperventilating. It got easier though, and I think it might actually be helping. Yesterday, about 4:30, I had a telephone interview for a job. I don't think I even want the job. I don't know. It's cold calling, telesales, which isn't a great job for social anxiety. But with the headspace I'm in, I'm going to proceed anyway. Normally, I'd be sort of really anxious about the phone interview, especially it being later on in the day. I'd normally spend all day worrying about it, with anxiety building, just so I'm feeling a bit shaky just before I have the actual interview. I I did spend some time like thinking ahead and actually thinking to the future interview. I took some time to prepare some answers to standard interview questions, like what's your greatest weakness? Name a time when you went above and beyond what was needed. Don't you just love those sort of interview questions? But then I thought, right, that's productive use of like worrying about the future, preparing. After that, any use of time worrying about it is just going to negatively affect it because I'll just start worrying and the anxiety will build. So I started doing little bursts of meditation throughout the day, maybe just for 10 minutes at a time. I took the dog a walk and I carried on with my day like normal. And when I felt the anxiety building, I just tried to be more present in the moment. It worked a bit, I think. just before the actual interview, I was really calm, and maybe it went better than it would have normally. I don't know. I'm not saying this is like a cure, and it's not like a miracle cure that's going to fix everything. And I can't claim to be an expert on it, especially because I've only been doing it like 2 weeks. But I think there might be something there. I'm going to stick with it, and keep working on it. I've sort of got really into researching things around it. I'm currently reading a book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. There's quite a lot of mystical stuff in it, but there might be some truth in it too. I think in some ways the actual meditation is important, but it's just as important to be trying something. Anything really. It's really easy to do nothing and give up and wallow in social anxiety. If you kind of do that, your will can get smaller. What I mean by that is, left on its own, social anxiety gets worse, like entropy. You sort of avoid things, you talk to less people, and that feeds back in itself and gets more anxiety. So I think by doing anything, it's kind of a bit of a step forward. It's sort of like symbolic to your own mind that you're fighting back, and change isn't possible at all without at least putting up a fight. I need to kind of make effort to think positively. Sometimes I go through negative thoughts a bit too much, and they don't always end up true or have to be true. Sort of, like glass half empty versus half full. I may whinge a bit on here about social anxiety, but I don't really want to be like all woe is me about everything. Right now I'm putting effort into getting better, so I have to kind of try and change my thinking a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm going to say, funnily enough, it's not the only sort of meditation I've done. I've been doing meditation for a couple of years now, but it's sort of a different kind. And I'm not sure if it's even actual meditation or not. Years ago, I watched a video from some guru about visualizing things with meditation. I started doing it in bed just before sleep. Basically, all I did was just close my eyes and look at the blackness of vision. If you ever notice when you shut your eyes, there's kind of like static little lights blinking in and out. Apparently these are called phosphogenes. If you kind of focus on your breathing and look past them, eventually you'll start to see things. I haven't been to another dimension or anything like that, just kind of like shapes, abstract shapes, patterns. Sometimes it's a bit of like, I don't know, real life, like flicking channels on TV, nothing really sticks for long. I see like tunnels made of abstract shapes, or I see birds flying quite a lot for some reason. I think what it is because I've used like my visual mind quite a lot, my brain can't cope with blankness, so it sort of like makes things up to fill the void, the black void, because it can't cope with seeing anything. Or I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm seeming a bit mystical on you, but I'm not. I'm saying, I promise. I've still got the video bookmarked that I saw that explained it better. I'll put that video in the description, I think. Anyway, I think that'll do it for today, and I'll speak to you later.